All right, we are officially recording here. All right, we're back. We're back.
Back and better than ever, baby.
All right, Rashid here.
Barrick
to
here.
the left or to the right.
How you
However
guys
the camera
doing?
actually figures it out over here. We're gonna get right into it, man, because it's been like a 3-week
Hiatus, yeah.
Yeah, 3-week drought.
3-week hiatus. We had to
yeah.
do things, and hey, here we are.
Yeah, so like we want to touch on the first round playoffs. Just real fast, let's just breeze right through that. Are any surprises to you or anything like that? Like, did you see anything that's like any kind of surprises? Like,
All I could say is the first round was what it was. I think some of our predictions weren't good. Some of our predictions were pretty good to go. But the second round is where people say the playoffs start. Playoffs start in the second round, and most of the series right now are 2-2 with the exception of Boston. That's where my surprise is. I'm surprised that Boston is not evened up in this series as well. You know, Kyrie Irving taking 7 shots out of 22 attempts. You know, he had to touch the ball almost 25 times. Besides that, turnovers. Is he to blame for what's going on with Boston right now? He has to be the blunt of the.
we'll get into that into the next
but,
one. We'll get into Kyrie in a second, though.
But that's the surprise right now. Boston being down 3-1 right now.
Yeah,
to me.
yeah. We're gonna actually get into that in the next segment over here. Basically, OKC is a surprise. The Nets are a surprise. Joe Harris actually learns how to shoot.
Joe Harris can shoot the rock, man.
He forgot how to shoot. At least with Joe Harris just shooting well, I mean, it probably goes to a 6 or 7 game series.
Right. I was expecting more out of Brooklyn. Okay, I was expecting more out of Brooklyn in regards to the fact that I knew that they can run the floor, they can defend, and they can definitely shoot the rock out from the perimeter. What I was most surprised is that most of the damage came inside, and Joel Embiid went off on them. And Joel Embiid is not the most healthiest guy, but he became a little too physical. They were turning basketball into a football situation, and obviously Brooklyn didn't quite get their heads right back into the game. And we're talking about as the series progressed, and I think that's how Philly was able to beat Brooklyn. You know, but you put this situation next year, I don't think it'll be the same result. You know?
Well, it depends on the development, off-season development of the players. Any needs that Brooklyn actually
No, they're developing right now because, I mean, the word out there now, KD might come out here. You know, we don't know it's going to be Brooklyn or 33rd Street and 7th Avenue, but we know if he does go to Brooklyn, he's going to be with guys that can help support the situation for him in regards to, minutes played and point production and obviously effort on defense. And it allows him to be able to play the whole season. But with that being said, I do think they have everything in place. They got the coach, they got the system right now, and they do have the players. So Brooklyn's okay. Now, do they need to get anybody else over there? We don't know. We'll let the offseason determine that. But right now, from what we've seen to this point, they started off slow. Brooklyn started off real slow. They had to come back, and they made their way into the postseason to play the Philadelphia 76ers, who I thought they matched up perfectly with. And I still believe that. But again, like I mentioned 2 minutes ago, Philly turned it into more of a physical football-like situation, especially with Joel Embiid. The elbow to the face right now to my man over there, Allen. That wasn't cool. But apparently they allowed it. There was no suspension. There was no fine that was paid. So if you're going to allow that, kind of behavior on the floor, then Philly's going to keep doing it. So that means there has to be adjustments made, and I think they were. But it's about getting on the court and basically absorbing the situation, which is the postseason. And I think Brooklyn learned that to this week. They learned.
Dudley, there's a lot of trash talking going on, and Game 5, he didn't even step up. I mean, no productivity out of him whatsoever. We'll talk about Brooklyn probably in a future show because they have a lot of off-season needs that has to be.
Yeah, we're from New York,
addressed.
Guys. We got to talk about the New York teams.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? We can't go without talking about the New York teams.
We'll shift over to OKC. That was a surprise, but it should be a surprise because Russell Westbrook was like a negative 27.
What you call him, Russell Westbrook? This guy calls him Russell Westbrook.
Nice, man.
But
absolutely
he touched the rock a lot, man. You talk about another guy that has to accept the responsibility for where the team does good or bad. Yeah, it's going to have to fall completely on Russell Westbrook's shoulders. But So Paul George, he has shoulder issues and all that. He took a number of shots, and he wasn't able to come through in the clutch as much as we're accustomed to seeing him do. And Paul George is the real
Well,
deal.
Paul George, I just think it's the way the team is actually constructed. If Russell Westbrook is not going to work on his jump shot, his shooting, then you'll have to probably, this is what I would
but
do.
see,
I would actually just get I think Brook Lopez should be highly coveted next. I think he's a free agent
to go where to go
anywhere, man. I mean, he's shown a lot of value in these playoffs.
Well, you talk about system. That's why it's working in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you just got to get a big that can actually shoot, and then, if you have to go to Europe and actually just get a big that can actually, even if you have to develop the guy for 1 or 2 years, get a big that can shoot, that could pull the opposing bigs out of the out of the paint. So this, it gives Westbrook more room to actually operate.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, what it comes down to is you got the bigs right now. We're talking about the bigs, but we get to it more in depth. But you got Clint Capella doing his thing in Houston. I mean, he's a guy that's affecting it on the defensive end, on the offensive end. That's what he's getting done. You have, in Milwaukee, you do have Brook Lopez, and no one's really mentioning him as much, but he has been a lot more effective on the defensive side of the basketball.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's getting, even when he's getting switched on to smaller guards, I mean, he's actually moving his feet.
Yeah.
My mouth dropped. I mean, I think he got switched on to Kyrie in the previous game, and he's actually moving laterally, contesting him on drives, and Jaylen Brown. I was like, what? Wow. So I think Brook Lopez should be, really highly coveted this in July, and I think Milwaukee will actually try to retain him. But other than that, really no surprises. Other than that, I mean, Orlando, they have to get a guard, a good point guard, to upgrade at
they got
guard.
They good too. They good. They're doing good in the right direction.
Yeah, same thing with I think Utah. Touching up on Utah, they need probably another.
They fell back a bit this year.
One-on-one player. So
they fell back a bit this year.
I think in the regular season that'll actually work with Donovan Mitchell being the one-man show. But when it comes to the playoffs, they're going to take away what actually Donovan Mitchell actually does.
Listen, the playoffs have been about two things consistently. If you watch all the games up until this very moment, they've been about two consistent things. Obviously, being able to shoot the rock from the outside. The three-point game is more and more every day, every year, the pinpoint of what's going on in a new NBA. But you got to get those defensive stops.
Yeah.
You got to make those block shots die for that loose ball. Obviously, communicating on defense is what you're seeing a lot of these teams doing now that's in the playoffs. This is what's helping. At the end of the day, I don't care if you drop 150 points. When the time comes to the crunch time, you have to make that stop. Houston did it in the last 2 games against Golden State. Now we got a series. Golden State was up 2-0. Now it's 2-2. And it wasn't a fabricated 2-2. The officials didn't help Houston. Houston went up there and made all their shots. They got to the basket. They got their free throws. But most importantly, they made the defensive stops.
All right, let's get into the second round because you seem like you're very hyped about that. All right, Boston's I know everybody on the sports sphere is actually going into the Golden State and Houston.
That's the series, right? That's the series.
But the real surprise is actually Boston. They're in a lot of trouble, man.
Yeah, you down 1-3. You can't lose no more. You can't lose no more. And with 2 of the next 3 games going to be in Milwaukee, obviously you're going to have to. Right now, you're down 1-3. From Boston's point of view, you're down 1-3. Now you have to go to Milwaukee in an elimination game. How are you going to win this game? Kyrie, listen to me, baby. You're going to have to defer that basketball to the other guys. Where's Tatum? There's been an MIA on Tatum. Tatum, brother, you got to get going, baby. They need you. Well, you did all this last year. All of a sudden, now you don't want to do it. I don't know if you and Kyrie don't get along well. I don't know what's going on.
Game, look at the shots that Kyrie was actually taking, man. A lot of contested shots.
Bailout shots. They were bailout shots.
A lot of fadeaway shots. It's shots.
No, I said bailout, not fadeaway. Bailout.
Okay, all right.
All right, come on. Especially in the fourth quarter. He gets an offensive rebound. It happens to fall on his lap. He shoots it right back up. You get a rebound. Guess what? The play's reset. The clock is reset.
Yeah, I watched the game. There was multiple players wide open for 3-point shots, and Kyrie just is chucking. The problem I think with Boston is a lot of chemistry issues. You have Kyrie actually playing for a supermax contract.
I just said it. Him and Tatum might not be getting along because Tatum's not in the game.
He's due for an extension.
Mm-hmm.
So
you don't think Boston's going to retain Kyrie?
I don't know if I would want to, man. I mean, listen, basically Boston, Brad Stevens is a system coach. And Kyrie is just not a system player. He's not.
Well, he never was, but that's not why the man's big is box office.
But system basketball wins over individual ISO. I'm not saying like ISO doesn't have a play.
The only person doing ISO is Harden right now.
It all depends on the actual matchup. And Kyrie doesn't really. I'm trying to think of a good matchup that he has, and he doesn't. Right. He just doesn't have a good matchup.
He's the shortest guy on the court, man. What matchup is he going to favor?
No, I'm just talking about like a weak defender that he can actually go at. Eric Bledsoe's tough. Yeah, and he's actually shown that he's more valuable in this series than Kyrie Irving.
What's that French guy's name? That's one Milwaukee. Where's number 5? What's his name? Number 20. I think it's number 20. I got to get his name. I think he's hurt right now. I think he's kind of
Braddock, right?
Braddock, that's right. Yeah, he's kind of moving around. He's another great defender Milwaukee has.
Yeah.
But Milwaukee's big, man. That's a big, lengthy team.
That's the whole thing. Yeah, you have to. It can't just be with individual play. It has to be east, west, north, south. You have to move the basketball.
But what I'm seeing in basketball, Rashid, is not even that. What I'm seeing is 10 seconds into the 24-second shot clock. If we can't get near the paint, we hoisting up 3-pointers. And if you guys are not shooting...
I agree with what you're saying. You have to actually drive first and then actually... But they don't really have...
And Gordon Hayward was driving, but you get into the edge of the paint, now you're going to throw a floater.
But
go with the basket and get a foul, get to the line.
They don't really have any really elite three-point shooters, though.
They're fairly enough of good defense.
Kyrie can actually shoot the three, but again, the adjustment I would make is probably a lineup change for Boston. And
who are you going to change?
Put Terry Rozier in the starting lineup.
You're going to start Rozier in an elimination game,
man, because he's Kyrie's the only primary ball handler.
I wouldn't start Rozier, but 5-6 minutes into the first quarter, bring him on the floor and then let him play extended minutes. Okay, that's how you're going to have to make adjustments because you say, okay, well, these are going to be my 5 guys.
Yeah.
Milwaukee's going to make an adjustment right there. But if you bring Rozier in there right now, 5 minutes in the game, and you try to mix things up a little bit, then you have a chance of getting to Milwaukee. But this is the thing. You have to be able to slow that game down. I'm sorry. You got to get to the basket. You got to get fouls. You got to get to the free throw line. Get them extra points. Because you're going to keep throwing up shots, and you're not hitting them. Right now, you're shooting at 29% from the field as a team right now. Below 30. You're not going to move you're not going to continue on the playoffs shooting like that. And you're still shooting shots.
Yeah, two games in the playoffs, Kyrie's actually shot above 50%.
Yeah, he's shooting there, but look how many shots he's taking.
No, he's shooting. I mean, he's shooting, 7 out of 22.
That was last night's game, 7 out of 22 from the field.
Basically, it's been horrible in the playoffs, except for 2.
That's below 40%.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So,
okay.
Any adjustments from Brad Stevens that you think? I mean, you heard my opinion on what
I
they
think
should
right.
do.
I think the Rozier thing is a good idea. I don't know if that's what he's going to do, but if you're going to do that, you're going to have to mix up as far as your substitutions. And I think, especially your game plan is going to have to be different because now you're going to have to go to basketball one-on-one. The basketball has got to touch 5 hands before a shot's going up. And when you take a shot, listen to me. Well, I've seen a lot, and I saw it in the Houston game too. Even with the Rockets and the Warriors, we'll touch on that in a minute. I've seen shots go up, but in this Milwaukee game with Boston, there was one play that had me taking a little bit of hair I got left in my head, which ain't much. I forgot who, because I saw it kind of quick. I was doing something else real quick, but I think it was Tatum that took the shot, and there was nobody in the paint. The other 4 Celtic players were beyond the 3-point line. And when the ball was rebounded, there were 4 Milwaukee Bucks sitting there.
Milwaukee has a lot of length, man. You have Brook Lopez, you have Giannis, you have
you don't
Mirotic.
understand. I get that, but you don't understand what's hot. I'm telling you, imagine this is the paint. This is the paint right here. And this is the 3-point line. The shot was taken from right out here. And all the other Celtics were out here. There was not one Celtic in the paint. And basketball, where I learned, when you're going to take a shot, you better make sure somebody in the basket to rebound that ball. That didn't happen. You took a jump shot from way beyond the arc, and there was not one Celtic anywhere near the paint. That's unacceptable.
Yeah, I just think Kyrie's actually dribbling the air out of the basketball. He's not adjusting to what the defense is actually throwing at him. Look at Giannis. Look at game 1. Downhill, that's pretty much his strength. Give me the ball, attack. But
he gotta get his jump shot together.
Boston actually took that away from him. Now you're looking at Giannis moving without the basketball, catching it in different spots and catching.
They're moving him around. That's adjustment. They're moving him around.
And Kyrie's not doing that. He's just getting the ball and just trying to attack these. Brook Lopez and Giannis helping and you look at Eric Bledsoe. He's a little mini tank, man.
Just imagine this.
They just have a better team. They look much more together as a unit
right now,
than Boston does. They have more elite shooters. So I thought this series would probably go maybe 6 games, 7 games, but I think Boston wins the next game, and then Milwaukee actually closes them out.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. Boston had this series 1-0. Excuse me. And the way Al Horford defended Giannis in the paint, and the way they were able to basically challenge every shot and take Giannis from the basket and force him to be a jump shooter, was the way I thought Boston was going to continue to play the remainder of this series.
Well,
somehow
they've been doing that, but he's just been moving. He's been moving without the basketball.
No, their defense
and look at their pieces. George Hill, who actually played in Cleveland last year and was like didn't give you any kind of productivity in the finals at all. Producing.
Yeah, but it's different when you're moving someone around, and whatever your game plan defensively was, that has to change now. So
Chris Middleton has been stunning, man. I mean, he's been producing at a high level, and it's a reason why he's an all-star and Jason Tatum is not, because he had a chance to make the all-star team when Victor Oladipo went down this year, and D'Angelo made it over him, and but Jason Tatum had a really productive year last year, and
I think Boston
Chris Middleton. I like. Milwaukee's team better. Budenholzer's out coaching Brad Stevens, and it's just.
I mean, Budenholzer has made a nice amount of adjustments, obviously, but the ball's been touching everyone's hands. You're getting Giannis loose instead of having him stay on one side of the court.
Yeah, he's moving all over. He's catching the ball.
All these things are happening.
Left side, right side. He's just moving without the basketball.
But they're getting stops. They're getting to the line, and they're making their shots. And at the end of the day, that is what's going to help you move further in the postseason. And Boston's not doing that. Boston clearly is missing their shots. They're just missing shots, and they're taking bad shots. Okay?
You mean Kyrie's taking bad shots?
Listen, Kyrie's not taking all the shots. Okay? But
I told everybody that knows me, I told you guys, my barber Shaft, you'll be listening to this video later. You defended Kyrie, and I told you, and this is he's going into his free agency now. There's a report saying that he wants to come to the Knicks or Brooklyn. Witnessing Kyrie, listen,
let him come.
Do you really want him though?
It doesn't matter what I want. I mean, as an actual fan.
As a fan, do you actually really want him?
Listen,
looking at how he's actually producing.
Hold on.
In the playoffs.
You're talking about the Knicks right now, and you're talking about how they've developed over 1 year to the next. All right.
Because there's a report saying that he wants to come to the Knicks. He's considering the Nets. And now there's a thing in Brooklyn as are they going to extend D'Angelo Russell or not? Because maybe Kyrie actually comes into play. But now look at Kyrie now. Do you really? He's not a good teammate. He doesn't, and I said it for a long time. He just doesn't make anybody around him better. He doesn't elevate anybody. He's turning, B players into C players.
Well, no, they can't be turned into it, Rasheed. They can't be turned into it. They're just not able to do what they are capable of doing because the man is not dishing the ball to them.
He said he should have took 30 shots last night.
So of course you're going to say that. But Jordan took 30 shots. Well, hold up. It's not such a bad thing to indict him over there because Jordan took over 30 shots, right?
Good shots. Not bad shots.
Well, I mean, listen. I'm talking about twirling back and forth and doing underneath shots. Those are fantastic shots. They still a shot attempt, nonetheless. The bottom line is he has made them. But I'm saying that Kyrie is not Michael. Kyrie's not even AI. AI took a lot of shots.
All right, no.
Can't go there.
Yeah, get back to my question. Would you, as a Knicks fan, do you want Kyrie Irving?
Right now, I would say yes, I would take him. I'm going to explain to you why. I'm going to hold on. Because somebody's going to be like, the way he's playing in Boston. I said the way he played in Cleveland was good, right? Now the way he's playing in Boston is bad.
I mean, he's good as a number 2 option or 3 option. I don't think I will. He's good. Let's say you run your
you look at the
number.
You look at the numbers in Cleveland. Kyrie was taking more of the shots than LeBron was.
No, I know that. That's because they had to worry about LeBron James. That's why.
But you can't sit there and say he's a second option.
He's better as a second option. He's not. He's their best player right now. He's Boston's best player right now.
Well, that's what he wanted to do. That's what he wanted. He got it.
He can't do it though. He can't.
Last year he was injured. So how is he going to prove that? This year's a contract.
They played better last year. He's just not. Like I said, system basketball wins over individual.
Okay, system wise, what were they doing system wise last year? They were spreading the basketball, and they were taking high percentage shots. That was the system they were running last year. They're not doing it this year because Kyrie's holding the basketball in his hand. Kyrie is, and I said this again, I'm going to say it for the umpteenth time, he has got to dish that ball more. Don't worry about taking 30s because you're not shooting the rock very well. If you can't get the ball in the basket, this is what I learned. I think about the first 4 or 5 shots. If they're not falling, I'm going to start deferring. And if another guy's hot, then let him lead us. Kyrie don't have that mentality. That's the only thing I got going on with him. But to have him as a New York Knick,
you want him on your on the team next year.
You got to think about who they're going to be drafting. You got to think about the other free agent. All right.
Yeah. But
okay. I mean, so let's get sick because you're not
older. He has an injury history.
Okay, yeah.
Do you really? I mean, seriously. I mean, don't get emotional over here, man.
It's not emotional. It's being factual. It's being factual. Come on. I mean, okay, you're going to get 60. First of all, you got guys coming out making comments about, well, we should start shortening the regular season. That's not coming from Kyrie.
Nah, that's not going to happen. The owners don't want that shit.
It's not going to happen, but I'm saying my point to making a comment is if Kyrie's such an injury-plagued person, he would be the guy that most likely would say it. It didn't come out from his mouth.
Yeah.
All right, so I don't want to jump from one thing to another, but I'm just saying you want to have him in New York. Listen, New York right now has young players who are slowly developing. And they might not develop enough to get to the playoffs next year. This year, you have 2 max opportunities plus the possibility of a number 1 pick. You have to go get Kyrie if you want making a dent in the Eastern Conference.
I sent you the article on the Knicks attendance ratings. Falling by I believe it was 38%. I believe
is attendance or viewership.
Yeah,
it's the viewership.
Yeah,
because MSG ain't empty.
Not the attendance, but the actual viewership. Fell 38% on the
Listen,
television.
I'm a Knicks fan, and I watched the game 2 quarters into it. If it ain't looking good, I'm turning the channel.
Come on, man. Don't you want to see the development of Knox? And
these
guys are going to play.
I've seen the development. These guys are getting there slowly but surely. But again, I'm going to say this for you can throw ratings all you want. It's about what the Knicks are going to do. You ask a question, I'm answering. This is what the Knicks have got to do. They've got to make 2 max deals. You can't go out there and get, I don't know. I mean, you can get Klay Thompson. He's a good signing. You can go get Klay. And you can wind up with Klay and Kemba Walker. No one's talking about that. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I think Klay's going to stay where he's at. But I'm saying you keep thinking KD and Kyrie. It could be Kemba and Klay Thompson. And let me tell you something. That's not bad either because you can win with those guys.
Yeah, but I don't think you get out the first round with the combination of those.
First of all, we need to have a first round to worry about getting out of it. And that's
what I think they'll make the playoffs.
Okay.
Actually, no, the East. This is not the East of 6 years ago. I mean, you have 6 legitimately good teams now. Mm-hmm. Between the Pacers. It depends on the health of Victor Oladipo. We'll actually see. And he had
a real freakish injury. He'll be back though. I believe in that guy.
We'll see about that. But right now, you have 6 good teams right now, and we'll see what Detroit does next year if they actually add any pieces. Drummond has actually been shooting more threes now, so if he works, if he actually works in the offseason with that, he comes back a decent 31 to 32% 3-point shooter. I think that changes a lot of things for them there.
It does, but you know what? It's funny you keep mentioning getting pieces because I think every team has to go get a piece at some point in time.
Yeah.
But let's look at the pieces. What are out there right now? We got the big fish, and then you got the second level players who probably won't do much for you more now than they did the team they left. about that. You have to be realistic about the possibility that you're just going to get a player that's going to get you some extra minutes. He might get you 5-10 extra points per game on top of what you already have. That can help you in tight ball games. But, the way people are shooting the rock from beyond the arc, if a team gets hot behind the arc, man, it doesn't matter. I'm telling you, 10 points ain't going to do you no good. You're talking about the big fishes right now. And who is capable of getting these fishes? Brooklyn got money. The Knicks got money. Clippers got money. Okay? And these are the three teams that are highly mentioned and talking about getting these big fishes.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to the Golden State and Houston series, because we're going to get on this. KD is the best player in the world right now, and
well, right now he is the best player in the basketball.
I'm tired of really hearing that right now, because
why?
Because I would take Giannis over him. I would, even despite his jump shot. But let's get into the series first between Golden State and Houston there.
Yeah. Now, this series right now obviously is the most compelling series. It was the most hyped series. Built up was great. I was hoping that this series would unfold in the conference finals versus the semifinals. So I was just thinking, based on seeing games 3 and 4, what's the possibility of Houston finishing this series off? It's a good chance. Because right now, I'm going to tell you where this series went a different direction. This series went a different direction from game 1. I'm going to explain why. Late in game 1, the very last second, what does Harden does? He takes a 3-point attempt. And he complained to the refs. Okay? The Rockets complained about the fact that there was no foul call on Draymond Green. Now let's explain something about the foul on a 3-point attempt. It's not necessarily touching the man's hand or his arm, because sometimes the referees let you play. The bottom line is you got to allow the 3-point shooter to land safely. And if you look at the replay, Draymond did not allow Harden enough room to lay down, to put his 2 feet down safely.
Yes, I see.
Which is why they should have called
season, it. Not just against James Harden, but other 3-point shooters around the league. That's called, 10 out of 10 times.
Because of what I'm saying. Because it's not about the attempt itself, it's about the landing.
Yeah.
And that's what explained. You can go on NBA.com and look at the rules. It'll tell you have to allow the player a safe landing. And he didn't think Draymond allowed him that. And, of course, the NBA said, you know what, we might have missed that call. And it cost Houston a game. So what happened now? You change the narrative about how the officiating is done in this series.
Because
and since
it's
then,
bad optics on the NBA, like the games are probably rigged or something like that.
You can say what you want. I mean, I just think it's about the man complained about it. The Houston team complained about it. They reviewed
psychologically manipulating the referees.
There you go. Yeah. So in last night's game, he takes a nice, decent shot. James Harden does, and I think Clay didn't even touch him. He was just barely next to him. They called a foul. And I said, this is what's going to happen.
But those are the calls I see in the regular season. It doesn't have to be against James Harden. But
it wasn't called that way in game 1. That's what I'm saying. Until they came out and complained about it. Since game 2, they, of course, Golden State won game 2. Let's not take away from it. They did earn game 2. They went in there and they handled business. But I'm just saying the narrative about how they're officiating has changed since that point. And now you go to Houston, you go into a Toyota Center, and you can see how the changing of the officiating was changed. You can see how it was, because now Golden State's like, well, we fighting against James Harden and the officiating? Yeah, you might. And if that's the case, Houston got a real shot. So let's look at where we are right now in 4 games in this series. James Harden is killing them. He's killing them from the outside. He's getting good dribble penetration. I mean, this man went around 3 or 4 players just to make a floater shot in the paint, and he made it. Where was the other players watching him? This guy has been ISO killing these guys.
Well, you got some productivity from Austin Rivers last night and PJ Tucker. They actually came through. Mm-hmm. Can those guys come in and win the next? It's tied up now, so
it's the best 2 out of 3 now. It's the best 2 out of 3.
So can PJ Tucker and Austin Rivers duplicate the games that they actually had again?
Yeah, I think they can.
Okay.
I think. Listen, you talked about Boston's pieces not coming through. Well, Houston's pieces have, and CP3 obviously is always going to be the guy, the engine that runs that whole entire car right there. But I do think at the end of the day, it's like when it comes down to crunch time, you already know who's going to have the back from games 3 and 4, it didn't seem like Golden State they were playing good defense. That's not Golden State's defensive prowess. They've been playing very well on defense. It's just when it comes down to one-on-one game with Harden, whoever you decide to put on him, which I think you should start throwing Durant on this guy because Durant has length, arm length. He's got ability to move side to side quicker. If it's going to come down to that's where the switch is going to. But see, that has to come from Steve Kerr. See, I remember the Bulls did that with Scottie Pippen when they used to play the Indiana Pacers in the conference finals way back in the late 90s. They pressured the basketball, and how they did that is they put their most relentless person on.
I think Klay Thompson is actually due for one of those big epic games, like 27 and a quarter or something like that. He's been invisible pretty much, and I just think that
he hasn't got a lot of touches. He hasn't got a lot of touches right now.
Yeah, well, but listen, he has to guard James Harden, and that guarding him can actually really kind of weigh on your legs.
Which just puts me to the point a minute ago. You got to switch up. Yeah, put someone else on Harden.
But they put Iguodala on him, but Iguodala's productivity is actually falling off there.
Right.
So, all right. So, like the next two games, who do you actually think wins this between Houston and
You know what? I'm gonna stick with the percentages. I'm thinking Golden State's gonna go home hot, man. I think it's gonna be a highly competitive game. It's gonna come down to the last two possessions, but I think Golden State's gonna pull out Game 5. They're gonna force Houston for another decided Game 6, and I think it's gonna be a Game 7.
Steph Curry's dislocated finger doesn't actually worry you or anything like that, or
no, it doesn't because Golden State has
because he's not shooting great from three either.
No, right now it's just a matter of saying right now it's not just about Golden State's ability to shoot the rock, is about what they've been doing on defense. And I think the adjustments from Steve Kerr is going to have to be defensively because clearly Golden State can score the rock. They can. They've been doing it for the last 3 or 4 years. That's why they've been winning. That's why they're
they're not getting any bench productivity either, Golden State.
Well, their bench is weak. That's no doubt.
But when it starts, you start getting into these upper layers in the playoffs. I mean, the rotations are short anyway.
Bobby.
Look at Philadelphia. They advanced in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
And Brooklyn's bench on paper was actually better. They were a more deeper team in a sense. Because you had Dinwiddie, who could be, depending on the team, a starting caliber point guard.
Mm-hmm.
But star power is actually what really kind of does it in the playoffs there. So all right, but I think I think maybe Golden State in the next two games starts getting back into system basketball rather than heavy isolation from KD. A lot. And I think they pull it off. I think they win the next. Maybe it goes to 7 games.
I think they're going to win Game 5. I think Houston's going to go back and get Game 6, and I think it's going to be a 7-game. I really do.
It'll be a 7-game series.
We didn't get a chance to do it on film here, obviously, but I have secretly told a few friends that this is a 7-game series without a doubt, and I don't see any reason for that to change. For that to change, Houston's going to have to go into Oracle and beat them. Because Houston only has 1 game left. That's going to happen because it's 2-2. So they're going to have to do Game 5, and it's definitely going to be a Game 6. 7 is if necessary.
Yeah.
Okay? So for Game 6 to be really monumental at Toyota Center, they will have to go into Game 5, into Oracle, and beat the Golden State Warriors, even if it takes an overtime or two to do it, which I think it might. That team plays very well at home. They've had one of the best home records in basketball the last 3 years. This team does very well at home. They're going to rely on the fans. They're going to rely on trying to get things done. But, you're right. They're going to have to share that basketball. I keep talking about that. You're talking about system basketball. It's really about sharing the ball.
Oh, that's what system basketball is.
Yeah, the ball has to move around.
Yeah.
Okay? And you got to take the best shot in the world, but you got to get back and defend, which Golden State has been doing well. Don't get me misunderstood. Golden State has been playing good defense. It's just when it comes to ISO with Harden, it's about, well, who are we going to put on James Harden at times when we know he wants to go isolation? It's kind of hard because he's always using picks.
Well, just don't give up the 3. Let him shoot 2s. And Steve Kerr even said, just let him score. Let James Harden score and just lock down pretty much the rest of them. But just don't give up the.
It's kind of funny you mention that because how many times I've always referenced the situation. I don't know if you guys remember 2004 when the Detroit Pistons played the Los Angeles Lakers. That's when Kobe and Shaq was at their prime and the Lakers were winning those titles. Remember, the Pistons beat that Laker team in 5 games. You want to know how they did that? They let Kobe and Shaq get off. They took everyone else out the game. They took Brian Shaw and Horry.
Yeah.
onus on those guys and let Shaq and Kobe get busy. So if you want to do that and let James score 45, 50 points and take everyone else out, yeah, I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to it. It works. Somebody won a championship doing that. All right? But that Detroit Pistons team was a strong defensive team. You had Ben Wallace. You had the Wallace brothers. You had, big time Billups. You had, Rip Hamilton on boards. So you had Tayshaun Prince. Yeah. You had that team knew how to defend. So they were able to do that. They took it to the next level. Of course, hand checking was involved back then. I'm going to make sure I put that in there. Hand checking is no longer involved in today's sports. But the concept still plays an effect. You can go out there and take the Tuckers out. Take the CP3s out. Find a way to keep Clint Capella out the box. All right? You can do all these things and let Harden go to work like it's some kind of backyard basketball game. I think you'll have success. But the basketball is going to have to move around on offense, and you're going to have to make them shots. And Iguodala's going to have to be more involved, in Game 5. If these things don't play itself out, there's a good chance Houston's going to go back and have Game 6 as a series closeout at Toyota Center. And if that happens, there's a good chance Houston's going to close them.
All right, let's get on to Toronto and Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. What do you actually think about that?
Another good series. That's kind of hard to tell because right now, Joel Embiid, he's the usual. I'm injured. I'm not feeling well right now. And, man, his last game, man, he had over. I want you guys to hear this. This man touched the ball about 60 times. 60. That ball was in his hands so much. Whether it was in regards to passing or taking attempts, he had the ball in his hands so much it wasn't even funny.
Well, the last game he was abysmal.
This is the game I'm talking about, game 4.
Okay.
Game 4 is when he had the ball in his hands so much, yet where was the adjustments coming from there? It's clear the man...
Well, all right, let's see. Do you actually see Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid fitting together?
Well, it's been working good enough. Well, it's been working good enough. I mean, look where you are. You were 2-2 in the second round of the playoffs. It doesn't matter if they are linked or not. I mean, I think they're doing very well together. But I think Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid are two completely different players. But it's been working enough from 2 years ago to now where this team has elevated, got better year to year.
Yeah, but I think Ben Simmons only had 10 points in the previous game.
Well, I just mentioned how many times Embiid had the ball in his hands. I mean, how's your house?
Yeah, but see, Ben Simmons is not. I mean, he's not going to go out and try to get you 30 every night. He's more like a more athletic Jason Kidd type. That's his mentality.
He's a triple-double guy.
Yeah, he wants to get the ball out to different.
And triple-doubles will win. Yeah, that's what. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that because that's what I've been preaching this whole entire show is ditching the ball.
Yeah.
But how you going to do the ditching when Embiid's got the ball in 60 hands? How you going to do it? The man came to work sick. Okay, Joel Embiid showed up to the arena. And he was not feeling well. He had taken an injection, had taken an IV injection to get himself going. The man didn't have his legs. He didn't have his burst. He didn't have nothing. Yet he had the ball in his hands this many times. So you wonder why you lost that game. And now you lost the home court edge because now you got to go up to north, cross the border, and play this Toronto team, which I think is going to light them up in Game 5. I really do. I think the reason why I feel that way is because at this right now, Leonard's doing good, man.
He is. I watched the previous.
Kawhi he's killing them. He's killing them.
Yeah, right? They almost lost that game. I think Kawhi a lot of times holds on to the ball too much. He's double team. He doesn't release the bat. If I get rid of the basketball, I know even if the other guys aren't actually producing for you at the moment.
Right.
He's holding on to the ball a lot, but other than that, I mean, he's really amazing, man. He really is.
Yeah, he's listen. I think Toronto should do everything they can to retain him. Although he's been coming out there saying I'm going to head out west, but we'll touch that to another day. But
well, listen, if they actually get past Philadelphia,
which I think they will.
Yeah, which I think they
think they will.
We were wrong on the first one between Brooklyn and.
We're allowed to be wrong. We don't know how this is going to play out. We thought this was going to be even Steven, man. I thought the Philly-Brooklyn series would be the way these other series we mentioned are going to be. It didn't happen. It just didn't happen. They played bully ball, and they were able to keep it going. Same way the referees has changed the narrative of the Houston Warriors series to a degree. that kind of narrative change. This series right now between Toronto and Philly has been straight up ball. There's no interference from the referees. There's been no complaint. It's been straight up ball.
Yeah.
Same thing we can say about the Portland series, man. We can get to the Portland series right now and talk about Portland and Denver because that's the same thing going over there. Those guys are born over there. Those guys are playing very well. Lillard on the Portland side, he's been doing everything he could to keep his team in there. I think those two teams right now are pretty fairly even as well.
Yeah, basically.
So it's kind of hard to predict how that series is going to conclude. But I know I'm going to go on a limb on this one, but I think Denver is the consensus choice. I'm going to go with Portland, man. I like Portland
the guard
right
play.
now.
Basically, guards. It's a guard-driven league.
Yeah, I got to go with Portland on this one.
Portland's guards are better. And look, even Rodney Hood, who was a member of the Cleveland team last year, and stepping up.
Stepping up.
Yeah.
That's right. So, I mean, they're getting the production from the
You have a coach that actually believes in him.
Yeah.
Believes in him. Yeah.
I think Portland is going to go. Listen, I think we might have three game sevens. Because I don't think that Milwaukee-Boston series is going 7 unless Boston catches lightning in a bottle. But I think we're looking at the strong possibility of 3 consecutive 7-game series, 1 in the East and then, of course, the other 2 in the West. I do think Milwaukee is going to finish this series in 5. But then again, Boston didn't look too bad in Game 1 up there either. So don't sleep. Boston might just show up and flip things over. We know.
Again,
we'll see what happens.
What I should have said on the previous when we were actually doing the playoff actual predictions. If Joel Embiid for some weird reason is hurt and can't really continue in this series, or in the playoffs, I like Philly's chances a lot. Over as I just think. Ben Simmons, gets the ball to different shooters and much faster than what, let's say, Embiid would do. So, let's see if Tobias Harris, he's a 40% 3-point shooter, 41% catch and shoot 3-point shooter, and you have JJ Redick. So they're gonna have to step it up the next game.
You focus a lot on this Philly series, man. I don't know. You want to see Philly get knocked out because they knocked your boys out?
I like them.
Be honest.
I just want to see good, compelling basketball.
Well, you're going to see it, man. But I'm saying down deep underneath the shirt, man. You like, I want to see Philly get knocked out.
I don't like the fit, man. I would just take. I don't know. I think Joel Embiid actually neuters them in a sense. Even like when he gets switched out onto guards. And I just think the game is changing. It's good. The centers, in a sense, is going to be more like the
centers are more like, okay, can you shoot?
It's supposed to be like I'm talking about they're built. You know, something like Jared Allen, Clint Capella, those type of
more of a hybrid big man now.
Yeah, that can actually, if they get switched on to small guards, both of those two centers can actually.
I'm glad you said that. That's where I think the big man concept is going in. We're looking for the hybrid big men, guys that can move around. They can do this, they can do that.
And Joel Embiid, even though he is mobile, but
he's flat-footed, man. But he's got a good jump shot, man.
Yeah,
he's
he
good
can
in the
move
post.
his feet, but over the course of a season and the playoffs, because that's all the NBA pretty much runs now is pick and roll, high screens, and a lot of times the centers like Joel Embiid or even Jokic, I mean they get switched on to these explosive guards, and
that's what you gotta do to get him in trouble, wear him down, and get points. That's the concept. That's the real strategy. You talk about strategy, Let's get this guy worn down. Let's run him through some screens. Take away his ability to score the rock and see if we can get him flat-footed, which means he's going to start reaching and get in foul trouble. This is what you're looking to do. See, Capella don't get into that problem. Jared Allen don't get that problem. At least Allen's getting there. Lopez is staying outside, but he can get in the paint and still ball. He can still brawl down there. He's a big boy.
Absolutely.
All right? So, the game is changing in that sense. So, we pretty much covered the postseason to a degree. I like where everything's going. I want to make this comment as well. I think the NBA should not ever feel like they're having a hard time moving in the right direction. They got great young stars that's going to take this league to the next level, led by Giannis. And I think the NBA is going to be in great hands. And I think the postseason is basically giving pretty much the basketball fans what they're looking for, especially the fans whose teams are still involved. They feel like we got a chance to go all the way based on the play. I don't know if you agree with that, but
I do.
But that's where we're going with that. I want to touch on something, and this is not basketball related. We talked about this off camera that a couple of days ago. I want to touch a subject on the NFL draft. All right.
Oh yeah.
And all it's been about is the New York Giants pick at number 6 in the first round and who they chose. Now, I'm sure by now people feel like they've learned the behind-the-scene reasons as to why the Giants selected Daniel Jones as the 6th pick in the first round as a possible heir apparent to Eli Manning. I say possible because the man still got to go out there and play. First of all, the thing was Gettleman, the GM of the New York Giants, made it very clear that he didn't feel like Daniel Jones was going to be available later in the round, and he also felt like the Dolphins and the Redskins, who are also quarterback-needed teams, were going to go out there and try to get Daniel Jones as well. I think that's fabrication. I think he went after it because the Mannings gave the green light on it. He was at the passing academy, the Manning passing academy. Archie, Peyton, and Eli felt like he has the mechanics and the arm position, release point, footwork that's necessary to be successful in the NFL. They didn't see that, quite frankly, in Haskins. They didn't quite see that in Drew Lock, who went to the Denver Broncos. I think Drew Lock's going to be a good quarterback over there. And of course, the number 1 pick went to Arizona. We know what was going on with that. We're not even going to question that right now. That's not even in the bill. The bill is what the Giants did at pick 6. That's all that's been the conversation. It's still the conversation today.
Well, yeah. You see, when you could look at the actual Patriots and how they did it in the draft, and
they had draft needs, but everybody had draft
except
needs.
the tight end. They didn't get the tight end that.
They got a tight end in free agency.
Okay. They
got a tight end. They gave him a 1-year deal in free agency. I think it's Justin Safarian Jenkins, who was a journeyman. He was with the Jets for a year. He was with the Buccaneers for a year. The man doesn't stay in one spot. Is he serviceable? Yes. Can he block? Yes. Can he get a 3 or 4 yard swing pass outside? Yes.
Was there any good tight ends in the draft though that the Patriots should have gotten?
Yeah, there were 2 tight ends that came out from the University of Iowa. I forgot both these gentlemen's names. Please forgive me for that. But they were both picked in the first round, both of them. And the Patriots did have an eye on them guys, but remember the Patriots won the Super Bowl. So how it works in football, which I also told this man many times, how I feel like the NBA should basically carbon copy the way the draft system is. The worst team in the league should always get the first pick. And the team that won the title should be the last to pick. Why? Because they already have the pieces. That's why they won the title. So New England picked 32, and they went after a wide receiver. They felt like that was going to be their aim. Which is a good pick. But anyway, we're not going to jump too much on the Patriots. I mean, it's interesting to say that's what they do. Patriots have always been able to fill the holes when
they're
needed.
Grinders. Yeah, I don't think the Giants are actually grinders. That's why I actually want you to jump
No. They are. See, you can't be considered grinders in the GM office. You make a decision. Listen, drafting a player is based on what you see in college. And then you interview the person. You see the person work out. That's what we call a pro day.
No, I get that. I mean, but actually interviewing and just like the Patriots actually have isn't their offensive system complex in a sense, though? It's
not complex. I mean, the Patriots run it. Their language is different. Everyone has different terminologies and how they call their plays.
All right, so the rookies that they actually drafted, do you expect them, despite, like you said, the interviewing, are they going to pick up on this stuff really quick?
You hope so. But with Belichick hanging around there's already – I don't want to disappoint this man, but people are going to get cut. People get cut every time. It's just the players that hang around are able to adjust and make quick adjustments, absorb and adapt really well, and are able to go out there in the preseason games. But you only got 4 preseason games, and you can make it that far to show the coach what you're made of. Just because you drafted them, you're going to make the team. All right. As far as if you're picked in the top 10, yeah, you're on the team regardless. All right. Everybody else, if they're not performing well, you might not see them.
Okay.
But like I said, I wanted to finish my thought on the Giants not because I'm a Giant fan. I just think that the situation is a little bit overdrawn. I do watch a ton of college football, and I've seen Daniel Jones play because I root for the University of North Carolina. They play in the ACC. So does Duke. Okay. So I was able to see Daniel Jones play. You want to know something? You don't see that much highlights of Daniel Jones because you know why? Listen out now. a lot of his receivers, they can't catch. There's a lot of drop balls. Now, yeah, there's a game where he threw 9 interceptions. I remember that. There's also Haskins threw 50 touchdown passes in 1 year, and Daniel Jones threw 52 touchdown passes in 3 years. We got a problem with that. Okay. But have you watched a ton of 2 games? If you have, his passes have been pretty much on point. Have they been caught? Have they won a lot of games? No. They're not really playing anybody. All you have in that conference is Clemson. You got a decent Maryland team, Georgia Tech. Okay, you got decent teams in that conference. North Carolina ain't that good no more. They're trying to get better. Miami's always going to be favorable. You don't know about the Hurricanes. You know how they do. All right, Hurricanes do for football like the North Carolina Tar Heels do for basketball. Produce a lot of pro players. But this is the ACC. They don't have a ton of great competition. Haskins is playing Ohio State. He's playing Michigan State. He's playing Wisconsin. He's playing Nebraska. He's playing all these boys. So, yeah, he's going to have stiffer competition. But the man's mechanics are there. I've seen his footwork. I see his release point. It's there. He's not the consensus pick because Mel Kiper and Todd McShay say he's not. I'm not validating the pick. I'm just saying the Giants went after the guy they wanted to go after. They got him.
I don't think they went after they didn't address their needs pretty much.
They did address their needs. They got a defensive tackle. They got a cornerback. They got a linebacker. They got a receiver. Okay, they got an offensive tackle. They drafted their needs. See, you got to understand something. The Giants took care of their draft. It's the first pick that kind of clouds over everything else they did. Okay. So the bottom line is, if you had drafted Josh Allen, who I think is the biggest freak of nature in defense coming out of Kentucky, the thing was, go get Josh Allen. He'll be your pass rushing demon, okay? And you know that Daniel Jones had been sitting there at 17. But apparently Gettleman just didn't feel like that was going to be the case. So you let a pass rusher go, and you get a defensive tackle who came from Clemson. He's going to be good. I've seen him play. He came from Clemson. He was in a national championship game. He balled out. They didn't get a bad pick on defense. They did good. They got the cornerback from Georgia. They did good. It's just, if you would have got Jones at 17, would it have been a difference, guys? Would it have been a difference? He's still on the team. Yeah, you're going to sit there and say, well, they should have got the defensive tackle, but they got the guy from Clemson. They didn't do too bad there. I will go on record and say, yeah, I would wanted Josh Allen, the pass rusher from Kentucky. I wanted him. I felt, common logically, as knowledgeable as football as I can possibly be at this point in my life, I thought that was the route they were going to go. But they wanted to go get that quarterback. The quarterback they wanted was sitting out there. They took him.
Let's stick to football. XFL sent you a text this morning on the article. Mm-hmm. XFL actually got deals with ESPN,
CBS, Fox, all of it.
Yeah, Fox is Fox Sports. Can they actually
succeed?
Yeah, can they actually muddy the waters a little bit for the NFL? I mean, the NFL is very vulnerable right now in a sense with the Colin Kaepernick stuff all the
Let me educate you. The Kaepernick thing has never gone away. It's just underneath the rug. All right. Secondly, the ratings are going up. Okay. Thirdly,
it was in a downward spiral for a minute there.
It was, but see, this got
do you think the XFL actually senses blood in the water though? Like, what do you actually?
No, I don't think they sense blood in the water. They know it's competition.
Okay.
But let me tell you something. Vince McMahon was basically hoodwinked when he first put together the XFL.
Okay.
That's why it failed. Secondly, this man was driven for years to get the XFL back up there. It had nothing to do. The NFL was about stronger than the Oxman he put it out before. It had nothing to do with, ratings for the NFL. The only thing that's making it look that way now because of the anthem issue and the Colin Kaepernick all together. That has gone down little by little. Why? Because the NFL has addressed it. The NFL is about protecting their brand. Let's get that out there. Owners don't want to hear nothing else. We can't have this problem. We're trying to protect the brand. We're trying to protect the shield. All right? It's XFL. The bottom line is the XFL going to come in there and compete with the NFL. Yes, they can go in and compete with the NFL. Are they going to beat out the NFL? Probably not. But I do think one thing. I do know for sure in my gut one thing. The XFL will be a very successful league. Vince McMahon is a very brilliant businessman.
He has a financial backing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And if you have that combined, you're going to make it happen. You got deals with all the major stations, TV stations, ESPN, Fox, CBS, ESPN2. Come We already know it's going to be there. It's going to be there. XFL will compete. They'll be successful. But are they going to beat out the NFL in terms of ratings? The answer is going to be no. It'll be close, but the answer will be no. The Super Bowls will always be big time.
Let me switch back to the NBA real quick. This probably should have been the lead story here in a sense, though. But Ty Lue going to the Lakers. LeBron is always leading off with the headlines, and we just put him towards the back page over here.
You saying LeBron? I said I should have thought about it twice because I didn't know what was going to happen with Magic. Okay, all right. Well, I'll tell you what.
And it's bad optics for the Lakers right there, man. I mean, they didn't even tell LeBron, who's actually the face of the franchise. I mean, that's just not good. I mean, free agents look at this. It's like it's a circus over there. And what do you actually think about the Ty Lue pick, though? He can coach, and also Monty Williams actually choosing one of the worst teams in the league over the Lakers because apparently Monty Williams was the Lakers' first choice and he chose Phoenix. Well,
who knows? Common logic, you could say maybe Monty Williams probably didn't feel like him and LeBron were going to see eye to eye. I don't know if LeBron was involved in these interviews. I mean, if he wasn't told about Magic, I mean, you'd have to wonder he probably wasn't involved in the process. But then again, with the Tyronn Lue hiring, I need to get more facts on it, so I have to apologize about that. But as far as Tyronn Lue, he has worked with LeBron in the past, and they've had success together. But this is the same Tyronn Lue who had a heart attack, right? He had a little heart issue because of dealing with things with LeBron. Yeah. So I find it a bit funny that he would accept this job to re-coach LeBron in L.A. where the demand is even higher than it was in Cleveland. But we shall see. We shall see how it develops. But I do think it's a good hiring. If LeBron's cool with Tyronn and Tyron's cool with LeBron, then it'll work. Because that's what it comes down to. But you got to get them other guys involved, find a way to get the offense going. You're going to have to go after a big fish out there. I'm sorry. The Lakers got no choice. If they don't get anybody, it's a complete failure. Complete failure. So getting Tyronn Lue, it helps because everyone knows on the outside looking in that him and LeBron got along well enough to have success in Cleveland. But we shall see how that plays itself out. Monty Williams, I think he made the best decision for him and his family. And if I had to go out on a limb, I would say, well, the thought about going to L.A. and dealing with LeBron.
What do you actually think about Phoenix hiring him? Because I think, more...
Don't sleep on Phoenix.
Looking at Brooklyn's situation, and how Kenny Atkinson was a development coach. Mm-hmm. I just think in Phoenix, you're not going to get any kind of marquee free agents to come down there anytime soon. So let's hope Monty Williams can actually
my man
develop
Booker.
The pieces.
Yeah.
To actually, that's really should be the model right now. Milwaukee, Brooklyn, San Antonio. It's a copycat world anyway, so they should be looking into that.
Listen, again, that's why I said Monty Williams looked at what he thought was best for him and his family. I'm going to put that out there, and I'm going to leave it out there. For us to be out there saying, well, I don't think you should go there, who are we to sit down and tell people that?
No, you know what I'm saying? It's our opinions.
Understandably, but, you got Mr. Booker out there playing. I mean, Booker's a baller, and, you have a superstar out there. At least you have a superstar that you can build around. And let's not forget, Phoenix is one of those 4 probabilities of getting that number 1 pick. Okay?
Yeah, that's true.
Let's not knock that.
Yeah.
So, we got to look at a lot of things that Monty saw, too, that he may feel more excited about. Going to L.A. and dealing with LeBron,
if you get,
I don't know.
If you get Ja Morant and...
Ja Morant going to be a baller. Ja Morant going to be a baller, man.
And Devin Booker together?
It's a guard league. You could get Zion, could get R.J. Barrett. But not Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish, I don't know. That dude just... And we're talking about the two, Barrett and Zion and Reddish are all three from Duke University. And, we all know how they got going. But Reddish's disappearance and the way he did to pull himself out the starting lineup, that really knocked down his stock. But,
we don't know if he has a basketball mind yet. Maybe he actually saw a better matchup with the second unit than the actual first unit.
I don't want to speculate.
Basketball is played up here. Man.
Every sport's played from neck up. But I'm going to tell you something. I don't want to speculate on what pushed him to do that. But Cam Reddish was the reason why they got knocked out. games by 1 point. All their games in the NCAA title, the first 2 rounds was decided by 1 point. They lost by 1 point. All Reddish had to do was show up and get a couple of baskets here and there. They'd have kept moving on. I think they'd have won the national title. But I think it knocks down his stock, not necessarily because he disappeared. It's because I think he pulled himself out of the lineup, and people want some answers. And I don't know. I don't know those answers.
It'll probably hurt his draft stock.
It's going to hurt his draft stock, not too much, but it's going. But listen, let's look at it this way. You only got 5, 6 really decent guys coming out anyway. That's going to be transitional players, hopefully for every team. So the Knicks and the Suns being specifically inside that 4-team slot, they're going to get one of these players. Ja Morant, Zion, them boys going to be beasts in the NBA. All right, we shall see how that works out. But anyway, like I said, at the end of the day, the players are doing very well. NBA is good shape. I just want to get that thing out on the Giant situation right now, and obviously the XFL is going to do their thing. And lastly, as far as the hirings, I think both coaches got exactly what they wanted.
Okay.
But I'm excited for Monte Williams. Don't be shocked on Phoenix, man. Give him a year or two, man. You're gonna be talking about them boys too. Guarantee you.
All right, we're going to wrap this up. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. Smash the like button. Take a hammer and smash it, and smash it. All right, have a good day, everybody.
Have a good day, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you.